Track's now clear at the men's start for Josh Brzezowski. Sled and track from the men's start. Andrew Robertson, stand by, please. It's race day here at the Utah Olympic Park. We've got the Norton Junior Nationals Championships, men's single. In the track, we have Josh Brzezowski. He's the first of 11 sliders for this Heat 1 of the men's singles. Josh had a start time of 2.832. He's working his way down the track, trying to set a high bar for run number 1 as he goes through slingshot. Coming up through the shady thicket, going across that finish line with a downtime of 51.342 seconds. Track's now clear at the men's start for Andrew Robertson. Sled and track from the men's start. Christopher Brand, stand by, please. In the track, we have Andrew Robertson. Start time, 2.835 seconds as he goes into curve 4, Sunny. Now cutthroat, going now into curve 6. He's currently 96 thousandths ahead of the pace. Andrew Robertson's coming down through cutthroat, going through the shady thicket. He's a full 2 seconds ahead of the pace as he comes up across the finish line with a downtime of 48.658. Track's now clear at the men's start for Christopher Brand. Sled and track from the men's start. Dirk Cardenas, stand by, please. In the track, we have Christopher Brand. Start time, 2.796 seconds as he now comes out of Sunny into cutthroat, which is 5. Now snowy 6. Christopher's currently 3/10 ahead of the pace as he goes through those labyrinth curves with a top speed of 80.9 miles an hour. He's coming out of 11, and the sled has gone over coming out of curve 11, but he gets back on as he goes through curve 12. That's going to cost him some time as he now comes down through the shady thicket, coming up through 15 and crossing that finish line with a downtime of 53.578. Track's now clear at the men's start for Dirk Cardenas. Sled and track from the men's start. Ben Wingfield, stand by, please. In the track, we have Dirk Cardenas. Hits coming out of Bob 2, going into Bob 3. That's the trickiest part of this track, going off of the men's start, is going from luge 3 into Bob 2. You can make that clean, then you have a good chance of getting a very good score or time down the track. And as Dirk now goes into curve 11, he had a little bit of trouble going through that labyrinth. That's going to cost him some downtime as he now comes through curve 13 into 14 slingshot. Little brush, sliders right, sliders left as he goes through the shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 55.048. Track's now clear at the men's start for Ben Wingfield. Sled and track from the men's start. Orson Colby, stand by, please. In the track, we have Ben Wingfield with a start time of 2.928. Having a little bit of problems as he goes through the 3-4 straightaway, barely holding on to that sled. He has to drop both feet to gain control of that sled, but he has it under control by the exit of curve 6. Going through those labyrinths with a top speed of 63 miles an hour. Hugging that sliders right through the 10-11 straightaway. Coming at a curve 11 into 12. Now into 13, going into 14 slingshot. Coming down through the shady thicket. Where's he going to land in the standings? Downtime, 56.502 seconds. Track's now clear at the men's start for Orson Colby. Sled and track from the men's start. Gabriel DeSaltels, stand by, please. In the track, we have Orson Colby. Start time, 2.785 as he now goes into sunny curve 4. Now into 5, snowy 6. He's currently 11 hundredths ahead of the pace as he goes through the labyrinth at a top speed of 80.9 miles an hour. Right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. He's increased his lead to be 36 hundredths as he now comes out of 12 and 13, going into slingshot 14. Coming right down the middle of the shady thicket, up through 15, crossing that finish line with a down time of 47.843. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Gabriel DeSaltels. Sled and track from the men's start. Logan Barnes, stand by, please. In the track, we have Gabriel DeSaltels. Little hit coming out of Bob 2, going into 3, but he gets it under control. He had a start time of 2.826 as he now goes into curve 6. He's currently 2/10 behind the pace as he now goes through those labyrinth curves at 79.5 miles an hour. Not quite enough speed to overtake the leader. He's need to find some speed coming down through the lower half of the track. He now comes down through 12, 13, now into 14. He's about 4/10 behind the pace as he goes through low point, coming up and crossing that finish line with a downtime of 48.414. Currently, second place at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Logan Barnes. Sled and track from the men's start. Gavin Davis, stand by, please. In the track, we got Logan Barnes. Start time, 2.821. Slight brush coming out of Bob 2 into Bob 3, but he's handled it pretty well as he now comes into snowy curve 6. He's currently 14 thousandths behind the pace as he goes through those labyrinth curves at 81.2 miles an hour. Right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Good line at 11. He's now 21 thousandths ahead of the pace as he goes through 13 into 14. Coming right down the middle of that shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 47.687. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Gavin Davis. Sled and track from the men's start. Chase Summers, stand by, please. In the track, we have Gavin Davis. Start time, 2.83853 seconds. Little skids going out of 3 and then touching right before going into curve 4. But he gets it under control as he now comes through curve 6, snowy into 7. Top speed, 76.2 miles an hour. Going to need to pick up some speed here as he goes into curve 11. Good line out of 11 into 12. Into Dinger 13. Now Slingshot 14 coming down through low point, going up through 15, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 50.235, and currently in 5th place at this time with 2 sliders remaining. Sled and track from the men's start. Sled and track from the men's start. Aiden Mueller, stand by, please. In the track, we have Chase Summers with a start time of 2.831 as he now heads into curve 4, which is sunny. Now 5 into 6, snowy. Going into those labyrinth curves with a top speed of 80.3 miles an hour. Chase is currently 15 hundredths behind the pace as he now comes through curve 11 into 12, the Olympic curve. Now at a dinger 13 into 14 slingshot. He's still about 38 hundredths behind the pace as he crosses that finish line with a downtime of 48.254 seconds. Currently in 3rd place at this time with 1 slider remaining. Track's now clear at the men's start for Aiden Mueller. Sled and track from the men's start. Our final slider for the Norton Junior Nationals men's singles, we have Aiden Mueller. Little bump coming out of men's or Bob 2 into Bob 3. We'll see if that cost him as he's coming down through snowy. But he's currently 68 thousandths ahead of the pace as he goes through those labyrinth curves at 82.2 miles an hour. Our fastest sled so far of the day as he now comes through curve 12 into 13. He's increased his lead. He's 3/10 ahead of the pace as he comes down through the shady thicket up through 15 with a downtime of 47.228. Your top 4 at this time, we have Chase Summers in 4th place with a downtime of 48.254. In 3rd place, we have Orson Colby with a downtime of 47.843. In 2nd place, we have Logan Barnes with a downtime of 47.687. And your current leader at this time, we have Aiden Mueller with a downtime of 47.228. A 5-minute warning. 5-minute warning to Maggie Richardson at the women's start. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning to Maggie Richardson at the women's start. Maggie, if you're ready, give me a thumbs up. Track's now clear at the women's start for Maggie Richardson. Sled in track from the women's start. Mariel Showmaker, stand by, please. We're back to racing with the Junior Nationals women's singles. In the track, we got Maggie Richardson. She's the first of 16 sliders in this Heat 1. Maggie will be looking to set a high bar as she's going through that 10-11 straightaway, dropping that foot. That's going to cost her a little bit of time as she regains control of that sled. She now goes through curve 12 into 13. Now 14 with a top speed of 71.4 miles an hour coming up through the finish line with a downtime of 46.535. Track's now clear at the women's start for Mariel Showmaker. Sled in track from the women's start. Talia Ton, stand by, please. In the track, we got Mariel Showmaker. Start time, 3.276. Mariel's one of two sisters racing today as she now comes down through curve 6 into 7, those labyrinth curves. Going right down that middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Good line at 11 into 12. Now coming up to Dinger, curve 13. Now 14 slingshot with a top speed of 67.8 miles an hour. Had a little problem there at low point as she comes up and crosses that finish line with a downtime of 48.832 seconds. Track's now clear at the women's start for Talia Ton. Sled and track from the women's start. Macy Showmaker, stand by, please. In the track, we have Talia Ton. Start time, 3.218 seconds as she now goes into curve 6, Snowy. She's currently 47 thousandths ahead of the pace as she comes through 7. A little skid at the exit of 7. We'll see how that affects her time as she goes right. Ooh, another tap right before curve 11. Now out of 11 into 12. She's currently 7/10 ahead of the pace as she comes down through Slingshot. Top speed, 73.3 miles an hour, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 45.771. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Macy Showmaker. Sled and track from the women's start. Emma and McCarty, stand by, please. In the track, we have Macy Showmaker. Start time, 3.304 seconds. Macy's the second of 2 Showmakers. She's the eldest in this race today as she now comes through those labyrinth curves. Going right down the middle of the 10-11 straightaway. She's currently 19 hundredths behind the pace, and she's making up ground. She's now 15 hundredths as she comes up through Slingshot. Top speed, 72.7 miles an hour. It's going to be close. Is she going to get it? She does. Downtime, 45.371 seconds, which makes her your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Emma and McCarty. Sled and track from the women's start. Elin Weaver, stand by, please. In the track, we have Emma and McCarty with a start time of 3.386 seconds as she enters into curve 6, Snowy. Currently 2/10 behind the pace as she goes through those labyrinth curves. Labyrinth, a series of left and right quick turns that every track around the world will have. Cameron is now coming out of 11, little high coming out of 11. She skids through the 11-12 straightaway. She gets it under control as she now comes down through 13 into 14. Coming up through curve 15 with a downtime of 47.191 seconds. Track's now clear at the women's start for Elin Weaver. Sled and track from the women's start. Galen Weaver, stand by, please. In the track, we have Elin Weaver. Start time, 3.522 seconds as she now goes into curve 6, Snowy. Currently 3,400 behind the pace as she now is going through those labyrinth curves. 9 now going into 10. Little skid going into 10. She gets it under control to go right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Good line. A little brush. Sliders left going into curve 12. Going to cost her a little bit of time as she now approaches Slingshot with a top speed of 68.5 miles an hour. Crossing that finish line. Oh, and she's gone over. But she was able to cross that finish line just barely to get a downtime. So a downtime of 50.195. Track's now clear at the women's start for Kaylin Weaver. Sled and track from the women's start. Zola Antonopoulos, stand by, please. In the track, we have Kaylin Weaver, start time, 3.266 seconds, as she now goes into curve 6, Snowy. She's currently 38 thousandths ahead of the pace as she's going through those labyrinth curves, and she goes over at the exit of 8. Brief hold on the track, brief hold on the track. And the athlete got back on the sled. She'll need to pick up some speed if she's going to make it through that finish line. She needs Slingshot to catapult her. She has a top speed going through the shady thicket of 50.2 miles an hour. And she does cross the finish line with a downtime of 1 minute 32.988. Track's now clear at the women's start for Zola Antonopoulos. Sled and track from the women's start. Sophia Sorensen, stand by, please. In the track, we got Zola Antonopoulos, start time, 3.381 seconds as she heads into curve 6. She's currently 1900ths behind the pace. She has a very high exit at a curve 7 and goes over at the exit of 8. Gonna try to get back on that sled as she goes into curve 11. And she got back on her sled. As long as these athletes can keep a hold of their sled, get back on, they can keep going down the track. They just need to cross that finish line to get a downtime. And as she goes down through the low point, she has a top speed of 49.3 seconds as she barely crosses that finish line with a downtime of 1 minute, 3.778. Track's now clear at the women's start for Sophia Sorensen. Sled and track from the women's start. Brenley Wilson, stand by, please. In the track, we have Sophia Sorensen. Start time, 3.286 seconds as she now goes through snowy curve 6 into 7. Hitting those labyrinth curves. She's currently a 10th behind the pace as she comes right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Nice line into 11. Falling back, though, she's now 3,600 behind the pace. She comes out of 12 into 13. She'll need Slingshot to live up to its name as she comes down through it with a top speed of 68.7 miles an hour. Crossing that finish line with a downtime of 46.63 seconds. Currently in 4th place at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Brenley Wilson. Sled and track from the women's start. Lillian Arnold, stand by, please. In the track, we got Brenley Wilson. Start time, 3.381 seconds as she now comes into curve 6. Good line out of 6 going into those labyrinth curves. Little skid at the exit of 7, though. She has it under control as she now comes to the 10-11 straightaway. Hugging sliders left a little bit as she now comes out of 11 into 12. She's currently almost 2 seconds behind the pace as she now comes out of 13 into 14 with a top speed of 65.9 miles an hour. Downtime, 48.966 seconds. Track's now clear at the women's start for Lillian Arnold. Sled and track from the women's start. Brecken Ludke, stand by, please. In the track, we have Lillian Arnold. Start time, 3.322 seconds as she heads into snowy curve 6. Now into those labyrinth curves. Good line out of 7. Now going in 8, 9, now 10. Hitting sliders right, then left, getting a little bit of trouble going into curve 11, but she has it under control as she taps again. Sliders left, coming out of 12. Got both those feet down, trying to regain control of that sled as she comes through. Hitting left, right, then left, playing ping pong down there at low point as she comes up through 15, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 51.036 seconds. Track's now clear at the women's start for Brecken Ludke. Sled and track from the women's start. Adeline Albert, stand by, please. And welcome guests to the Utah Olympic Park. Today is race day, and we currently have a sled in the track. We just have a few rules over here on trackside. There's no standing, leaning, sitting, or poking your heads underneath the shades or fence lines. At no time, enter the track surface. There's no throwing of objects at or around the track. All the buildings and coaches' grates are for coaches and athletes only. These rules are for your safety as well as the safety of our athletes. Enjoy your time here at the Utah Olympic Park. And that was Brecken Ludke crossing that finish line with a downtime of 45.333 and currently in first place at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Adeline Albert. Sled and track from the women's start. Kendall Atkins, stand by, please. In the track, we have Adeline Albert, start time, 3.323 seconds as she now comes down into curve 6, which is snowy. Now into 7, the start of those labyrinth curves. Series of quick left and right turns. Now right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Adeline is currently a half second behind the pace as she hits sliders left before going into curve 12, which sends her high at the exit. She has to get those feet down to get the sled under control, but she has it coming down through the shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 47.897, currently in 7th place at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Kendall Atkin. Sled and track from the women's start. Ellie Kleinheim, stand by, please. In the track, we have Kendall Atkin with a start time of 3.279 seconds as she comes down through curve 6 into 7. She's currently 1800ths behind the pace as she goes through those labyrinth curves right down the middle of the 10-11 straightaway, but she's losing ground. She's now 0.3 behind the pace as she comes through 12. Now 13 into 14 slingshot. Top speed 71.1 miles an hour as she crosses that finish line with a downtime of 45.987 seconds. Currently, 4th place at this time with 2 sliders remaining. Track's now clear at the women's start for Ellie Kleinheim. Sled and track from the women's start. Brianna Gosnell, stand by, please. In the track, we have Ellie Kleinheim with a start time of 3.248 seconds. Ellie won yesterday's race, and she'll be looking to use that momentum to get down the track today and secure another win. And she's currently 86 thousandths ahead of the pace right now as she comes out of 11 into 12. She's now increased that lead. She's full 2/10 ahead as she comes through slingshot with a top speed of 71.7 miles an hour. Crossing that finish line with a downtime of 45.006 seconds. Your current leader at this time with 1 slider remaining. Track's now clear at the women's start for Brianna Gosnell. Sled and track from the women's start. Our final slider of Heat 1 of the Norton Junior Nationals women's singles. We have Brianna Gosnell with a start time of 3.269 seconds. Brianna is also one half of a doubles team that we will see racing later today. As she now comes down through that 10-11 straightaway, she's 2/10 behind the pace as she goes through 12. Now going into 13. Nice line into 13, into 14. Dropping a little bit back, though. She's 3/10 behind the pace as she comes up through curve 15, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 45.523 seconds. Our top 4 at this time, we have Brianna Gosnell with a downtime of 45.523 seconds. In third place, we have Macy Showmaker with a downtime of 45.371. In second place, we have Brecken Ludke with a downtime of 45.333. And And your current leader at this time, we have Ellie Kleinheinz with a downtime of 45.006. It's a 5-minute warning, approximate 5-minute warning to Ben Wingfield at the men's start. Two-minute warning to Ben Wingfield at the men's start. Ben, if you're ready, give me a thumbs up. Track's now clear at the men's start for Ben Wingfield. Sled and track from the men's start. Dirk Cardenas, stand by, please. In the track, we've got Ben Wingfield. Start time, 2.932 seconds. Little trouble coming out of curve 4. It's getting all the way through 4, 5, now 5, 6, into 6, but he has it under control. This is resuming the Norton Junior National men's singles race. And we will be going by reverse by rank order. So our fastest sliders in Heat 1 will be at the end of the order for Heat 2. So we will see a lot of changes as we go through our athletes. And that was Ben Wingfield as he crosses the finish line with a downtime of 55.981 seconds. Combined downtime 1 minute 52.483. Track's now clear at the men's start for Dirk Cardenas. Sled in track from the men's start. Christopher Brand, stand by, please. In the track, we got Dirk Cardenas as he hits coming out of Bob 2 into Bob 3. Trickiest part on that track for these athletes going from the men's start. Dirk had a start time of 2.887 seconds as he skids coming out of curve 7. That's going to cost him a bit of time as he hits that 10-11 straightaway. Going right into 11. Hit little bit sliders left going into 12, but he has it under control going through 13. Now 14 slingshot. Russian sliders right going through the low point, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 52.833 seconds. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 47.881. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Christopher Brand. Sled in track from the men's start. Josh Brzezowski, stand by, please. In the track, we have Christopher Brand. He's the third of 11 sliders as he smashes going into curve 4. But he has it under control as he exits curve 4 going into 6, which is Snowy, now hitting 7 with a top speed of 76.1 miles an hour going through those labyrinth curves. Right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Christopher's currently 2 seconds ahead of the pace as he now comes through 13 into 14. Right down the middle of that shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 50.127. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 43.705. Current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Josh Brzezowski. Sled in track from the men's start. Gavin Davis, stand by, please. In the track, we have Josh Brzezowski hitting right, sliders right, coming out of Bob 2 into Bob 3. That's going to cost him a little bit of speed as he now comes down into curve 6, which is Snowy. Now into 7 with a top speed of 78.5 miles an hour. Going through those labyrinth curves with a little bit of skid, then a little bit of trouble going through that 10-11 straightaway as he hits right, then left, and then skids right into 11. But he has it under control as he comes through 12 and 13. Going into slingshot, which is 14. Right down the middle of that shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 50.826. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 42.168. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Gavin Davis. Sled and track from the men's start. Andrew Robertson, stand by, please. In the track, we have Gavin Davis. Start time, 2.837 seconds. Little brush sliders right going into Bob 3. Makes him skid going through curve 3, but he has it under control as he now comes through curve 6 into 7 with a top speed of 79.2 miles an hour. Coming right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. He's currently over a second ahead of the pace as he now comes through the Olympic curve, which is curve 12, into 13, now 14. Having a over 2.5 second lead as he crosses that finish line with a downtime of 48.911. Combined downtime 1 minute 39.146. Current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Andrew Robertson. Sled and track from the men's start. Gabriel DeSaltel, stand by, please. In the track, we have Andrew Robertson. Start time, 2.827 seconds. Andrew's going to need a 50.488 to maintain his position. He's currently almost 2 seconds ahead of that pace as he goes down through the labyrinth at a top speed of 80.7 miles an hour. Going into curve 11. Nice line out of 11 into 12. He's now increased his lead up to over 2 seconds as he comes down through low point, coming up through curve 15, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 48.093. Combined downtime, 1 minute 36.751. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Gabriel DeSaltel. Sled and track from the men's start. Chase Summers, stand by, please. In the track, we have Gabriel DeSaltel hitting out of Bob 2 into Bob 3, which sends him skidding all the way down the 3-4 straightaway. But he has it under control coming out of curve 4. Going into 6, coming into 7. Those labyrinth curves at 79 miles an hour. Hugging that sliders right, going through the 10-11 straightaway. Gabriel's currently 3/10 behind the pace as he goes down through curve 14 slingshot. Going up through low point and curve 15 with a downtime of 48.899. Combined downtime, 1 minute 37.313. Dropping 1 position and currently in second place at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Chase Summers. Sled and track from the men's start. Horse and Colby, stand by, please. In the track, we have Chase Summers. Again, brushing sliders right as he comes out of Bob 2, going into Bob 3. Wasn't a big hit. He has it under control. And he's currently 46 hundredths ahead of the pace. As he skids on the exit of curve 7, that's going to cost him a little bit of time. as he goes down that 10-11 straightaway. He's now only 0.3 ahead of the pace, and he's losing ground quickly, now 0.2. Will he be able to get some speed going through Slingshot? Oh, trouble at low point. Ping-ponging down there, left, right, left, coming up through the finish line with a downtime of 49.141. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 37.395. Dropping 2 position, and currently in 3rd place with 3 sliders remaining. Track's now clear at the men's start for Orson Colby. Sled and track from the men's start. Logan Barnes, stand by, please. In the track, we have Orson Colby. Start time, 2.841 seconds, and trouble going through that 3-4 straightaway. But he gets it under control as he comes through the exit of 4, but that's going to cost him some time as he comes down through 6-7 with a top speed, 76.2 miles an hour. He'll need to make up some speed here in the lower half of the track. More of where he's going to end up in the standings now as he comes down through 12 into 13. Now Slingshot 14. Right, hugging that sliders right, going through the shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 49.923. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 37.766. Currently in 4th place at this time. Track's now clear at the men's start for Logan Barnes. Sled and track from the men's start. Aiden Mueller, stand by, please. In the track, we have Logan Barnes. Start time, 2.799 seconds. He'll need a 49.064 to catch your leader, Andrew Robertson, who has a combined downtime at the moment of 1 minute, 36.751. He's currently a full second ahead of the pace as he goes through those labyrinth curves at 82 miles an hour. Coming out of curve 11 into curve 12. He's now a second and a half ahead of the pace going into Slingshot. Right down the middle of the shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 47.39 seconds. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 35.066. Your current leader with 1 slider remaining. Track's now clear at the men's start for Aiden Mueller. Sled and track from the men's start. Our final slider for the Norton Junior Nationals men's singles. We have Aiden Mueller. Slight brush coming out of Bob 2 into Bob 3, but he has it under control as he now comes out of Cutthroat into Snowy Curve 6. Aiden was our fastest slider in Heat 1 with a 47.228. He'll need a 47.838 to maintain his position. He's currently 6,700 ahead of that pace as he comes out of curve 13, now into 14 Slingshot. Right down the middle. It's looking like a victory lap as he crosses that finish line with a downtime of 46.983. Combined downtime, 1 minute 34.211. Our top four at this time. In fourth place, we have Gabriel DeSaltels with a combined downtime of 1 minute 37.313. In third place, we have Andrew Robertson with a combined downtime of 1 minute 36.751. In second place, we have Logan Barnes with a combined downtime of 1 minute 35.066. And in first place, we have Aiden Mueller with a combined downtime 1 minute 34.211. 5 minute warning to Kaylin Weaver at the women's start. All right, thank you, Kaylin. Track's now clear at the women's start for Kaylin Weaver. Sled and track from the women's start. Zola Antonopoulos, stand by, please. We're back to racing with the Norton Junior Nationals women's singles. In the track, we got Kaylin Weaver. Heat 2 of the women's singles, we go reverse rank by order. So again, we will go with our fastest sliders at the end of heat 2. So there'll be many lead changes. And as Jalen goes through that 10-11 straightaway, she had a little bit of problems, hitting left and right, skidding into curve 11, but she got it under control. As she's now coming down through the shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 48.070. Combined downtime, 2 minute 21.058. Track's now clear at the women's start for Zola and Annapolis. Sled in track from the women's start. Lillian Arnold, stand by, please. In the track, we have Zola and Annapolis. Start time, 3.364 seconds as she goes into curve 6, Snowy. Now into 7, hitting those labyrinth curves. A lot of height coming out of curve 7. And she's gone over at the curve 8, and she has lost her sled. She regained her sled as she's in the 10-11 straightaway. Athlete has gotten back on her sled at the exit, or at the entrance of curve 11. She'll need to make up some speed to cross that finish line. Coming out of 11 into 12. Lost a lot of speed, almost come to a full stop as you go through this lower half of the track. Will she have enough speed coming through Slingshot, going through low point at 49.8 miles an hour, coming up through curve 15? And she has enough to cross that finish line with a downtime of 1 minute 25.466. Combined downtime, 2 minute 29.244. Track's now clear at the women's start for Lillian Arnold. Sled in track from the women's start. Elin Weaver, stand by, please. In the track, we have Lillian Arnold. Start time, 3.324 seconds as she heads into curve 6. Snowy, now 7. Little skid at the exit of 7 is going to cost her some time as she goes through those labyrinth curves. Hitting sliders right, then left, sends her real high in the entrance of 11. And at the exit, she's really high, dropping out, hitting sliders left. But she gets it under control by the exit of 13. Coming down through low point with a top speed of 63.4 miles an hour, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 48.629 seconds. Combined downtime, 1 minute 39.665. Track's now clear at the women's start for Elin Weaver. Sled and track from the women's start. Brinley Wilson, stand by, please. In the track, we have Elin Weaver, start time, 3.522 seconds. Elin had a 50.195 in heat 1. She'll need a 49.470 to maintain her position, and she's currently 6,500 ahead of that pace as she now comes through curve 11, skidding through the 11-12 straightaway, but she has it under control as she exits 13 into 14 slingshot. A lot of problems at low point with a hard hit, sliders right, but she gets it under control before hitting sliders left. Downtime, 50.147. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 40.342. Drop in one position, and currently in second place at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Brinley Wilson. Sled and track from the women's start. Mariel Showmaker, stand by, please. In the track, we have Brinley Wilson, start time, 3.358 seconds. Brinley's going to need a 50.699 to maintain her position, and she's almost 2 seconds ahead of the pace as she skids down through the 7-808 straightaway and skidding through low point. She gets it under control, though, by the 10-11 straightaway. That's going to cost her some time, though, but she's still about a second ahead of the pace. Gets real high in 13, dropping both of those feet to maintain control of that sled. And she goes over at the exit of 14. Going to come to a rest and not finish. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning to Mariel Showmaker at the women's start. Track's now clear at the women's start for Mariel Showmaker. Sled and track from the women's start. Adeline Albert, stand by, please. In the track, we have Mariel Showmaker with a start time of 3.265 seconds. In Heat 1, Mariel had a 48.832 seconds. She'll need a 50.833 to maintain her position. She's currently 2 seconds ahead of that pace as she goes right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Good line out of 11 into 12. She's still holding on. She's now almost 2.5 seconds as she comes to slingshot. Coming out of 14 with a top speed of 67.2 miles an hour. Crossing that finish line with a downtime of 47.943. Combined downtime 1 minute 36.775. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Adeline Albert. Sled and track from the women's start. Emerin McCarty, stand by, please. In the track, we have Adeline Albert with a start time of 3.330 seconds. As she heads into curve 6, she's currently 0.8 ahead of the pace as she comes down through those labyrinth curves. Labyrinth series of quick left and right turns, and then a little trouble as she hits right, then left, right before 11 sends her high. But she gets it under control by dropping those feet. That's going to cost her a little bit of time as she now comes into 13. She's now 9 thousandths behind the pace as she comes down through the shady thicket, going up through curve 15, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 50.365, combined downtime 1 minute 38.262, dropping 1 position and currently in second place at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Emerin McCarty. Sled and track from the women's start. Sophia Sorensen, stand by, please. In the track, we have Emerin McCarty. Start time, 3.378 seconds. Emerin's going to need a 49.584 to maintain her position, and she's currently a second and a half ahead of that pace as she heads into those labyrinth curves. Hugging that sliders right, going through the 10-11 straightaway. Little high coming out of 11, but she has it under control as she skids into 13, which sends her high, bouncing around, going through the 13-14 straightaway. She gets it under control, though, by the exit of 14. Crossing that finish line with a downtime of 48.23 seconds. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 35.428. Your current leader at this time. Attention, owner of the tan Lexus with the license plate USA Luge. We need you to move your car to out on the road. We can't have you blocking those bins there. Track's now clear at the women's start for Sophia Sorensen. Sled and track from the women's start. Maggie Richardson, stand by, please. In the track, we have Sophia Sorensen, start time, 3.283. Sophia is currently 7,500 hundredths ahead of the pace as she heads into those labyrinth curves. Going right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. She's increasing her lead. She's over 8/10 now as she goes through the Olympic corner, which is curve 12. The rings during the Olympics were embedded in that corner as she comes now down through Cutthroat with a top speed of 71 miles an hour, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 46.637. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 33.274. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Maggie Richardson. Sled and track from the women's start. Kendall Atkins, stand by, please. In the track, we got Maggie Richardson, start time, 3.242, as she now enters curve 6, which is snowy. And she's currently almost 3/10 ahead of the pace as she heads through those labyrinth curves. Skidding through 10-11 straightaway, hit left and right, going into curve 11. That's going to cost her some time, as she has gone over at the exit of curve 11. Maggie, just hold on there. Patrol is en route. Kendall Akin, when you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. Track's now clear at the women's start for Kendall Akin. Sled and track from the women's start. Talia Ton, stand by, please. In the track, we have Kendall Akin. Start time, 3.278 seconds. Little swerve there going through the 5-6 straightaway. She has it under control as she now heads into those labyrinth curves. She's currently 68 hundredths ahead of the pace as she goes right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. She's still holding on to now up to 7/10 as she comes out of 13 into 14 to maintain her position. She's just increasing that as she came out of slingshot, going up through curve 15, crossing that finish time with a 46.344. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 32.331. Current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Talia Ton. Sled and track from the women's start. Brianna Gosnell, stand by, please. In the track, we have Talia Ton. Start time, 3.242 as she heads into curve 6, Snowy. Now into 7, those labyrinth curves with a good line. Talia had a 45.771 in heat 1. She'll need a 46.560 to maintain her position, and she's currently 9/10 ahead of the pace as she comes at a curve 14 into 15, crossing that finish line with a 44.983 combined downtime, 1 minute 30.754. Current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the women's start for Brianna Gosnell. Sled and track from the women's start. Macy Showmaker, stand by, please. In the track, we have Brianna Gosnell. Start time, 3.267 seconds. As she heads into curve 6, Snowy, she'll need a 45.231 to maintain her position, and she's currently 12 hundredths ahead of the pace as she goes right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Coming at 11, she's still holding on to about a 2, or now she's behind. Now she's behind the pace by 2/10 as she comes down through Slingshot, coming up through curve 15 with a downtime of 46.159. Combined downtime, 1 minute 31.682. Dropping one position and currently in second place at this time with 3 sliders remaining. Track's now clear at the women's start for Macy Showmaker. Sled and track from the women's start. Brecken Lukey, stand by, please. In the track, we have Macy Showmaker. Start time, 3.310. Macy had a 45.371 in Heat 1. She'll need a 45.383 to maintain her position, and she's currently 19 hundredths ahead of that pace as she goes right down the 10-11 straightaway. Good line out of 11 into 12. Now 17 hundredths ahead of the pace, going into 13. Now Slingshot 14. She's fallen behind, now a half second behind the pace as she comes up through the finish line with a downtime of 46.139. Combined downtime, 1 minute 31.510. Dropping one position in second place with 2 sliders remaining. Track's now clear at the women's start for Brecken Lukey. Sled and track from the women's start. Ellie Kleinheim, stand by, please. In the track, we have Brecken Lukey with a start time of 3.253 seconds. As she heads into curve 6, she's currently 4/10 ahead of the pace as she heads through those labyrinth curves. Going right down the middle of the 10-11 straightaway. She's dropped a little bit. She's only 3/10 ahead as she comes down through curve 12. Now 13. Now only a quarter second ahead as she comes down through Slingshot. 1400s. Is she going to keep it? Is she going to keep her spot? Or is she going to drop? She drops. Downtime, 45.426. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 30.759. Dropping one position and second place with one slider remaining. Track's now clear at the women's start for Ellie Kleinheinz. Sled and track from the women's start. Our final slider here in Heat 2 of the Norton Junior Nationals women's singles. We have Ellie Kleinheinz. Ellie was the fastest sled in Heat 1 with a downtime of 45.006. She'll need a 45.748 to maintain that position, and she's currently 7,500 hundredths ahead of that pace as she comes now down through 12 into 13. She's dropped a little. She's now 6,400 hundredths ahead as she comes down through Slingshot, now a half second ahead. She's going to keep that speed as she comes up through the finish line. She does. Downtime, 45.312. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 30.318 seconds. Your top four at this time, we have in fourth place, we have Macy Showmaker with a combined downtime, 1 minute, 31.510. In third place, we have Brecken Ludke with a combined downtime, 1 minute, 30.759. In second place, we have Talia Ton with a combined downtime, 1 minute, 30.754. And in first place, we have Ellie Kleinheinz with a downtime of 1 minute, 30.318. 5-minute warning, 5-minute warning to our first and only forerunner. 5-minute warning. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning to our first and only forerunner. 2-minute warning. If you're ready, give me a thumbs up. Track's now clear at the women's start for our first and only forerunner. Sled and track from the women's start. Two-minute warning to Nathan Bivens and Wolfgang Lux at the double start. 2-minute warning. If you guys are ready, just give me a thumbs up. Track's now clear at the double start for Nathan Bivens and Wolfgang Lux. Sled and track from the double start. Marcus Mueller and Ansel Hogshaw, stand by, please. We're back to racing with the Norton Junior Nationals double sleds. In the track, we got Nathan Bivens with Wolfgang Lux with a start time of 3.222. As they head down into those labyrinth curves, they're looking to set a high bar for run one here as they come out of curve 11 into 12. Nice line out of 12 into 13. Got to drop those feet a little bit to get control. That's going to cost them a little bit of time as they hit left, right, left, going through low point, coming up, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 45.344 seconds. Track's now clear at the double start for Marcus Mueller and Ansel Hogshaw. Sled and track from the double start. Sadie Martin and Brianna Gosnell, stand by, please. In the track, we've got Marcus Mueller with Ansel Hogshaw. Start time, 3.132 seconds as they come down through those labyrinth curves. They're currently 3/10 ahead of the pace as they go right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. They're increasing their lead. They're up to 4/10 as they come out of 13 into 14. Good line going into 14. Kind of hugging that sliders right as they go through the shady thicket, crossing that finish line with a downtime of 44.346 seconds. Your current leader at this time. Track's now clear at the double start for Sadie Martin and Brianna Gosnell. Sled and track from the double start. Our last slider in the Norton Youth Nationals doubles, we have Sadie Martin with Brianna Gosnell. start time, 3.282 seconds as they head into those labyrinth curves. Going right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway. Good line out of 11 into 12, the Olympic corner. Now Dinger 13. Coming now down through Slingshot, curve 14. In trouble at low point, hitting right, then left, and then right again as they come up through 15. Crossing that finish line with a downtime of 47.169 seconds. Our top three at this time, we have Sadie Martin and Brianna Gosnell. Downtime, 47.169 seconds. In second, we got Nathan Bivens and Wolfgang Lux with a downtime of 45.344. And your current leader, Marcus Mueller with Ansel Hogsjaw with a downtime of 44.346. There's going to be a pause in our sliding action as we transfer our athletes back to their start. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning to our first and only forerunner. 2-minute warning. Track's now clear at the women's start for our first and only forerunner. Sled in track from the women's start. Track's now clear at the double start for Sadie Martin and Brianna Gosnell. Sled and track, sled and track from the double start. Nathan Bivens and Wolfgang Lux, stand by, please. In the track, we got Sadie Martin and Brianna Gosnell with a start time of 3.273 seconds as they head down that 10-11 straightaway. Good line into curve 12. Now 13 coming into slingshot 14. Hugging that sliders right as they come up through the finish line, crossing the finish line with a downtime of 46.102. Combined downtime 1 minute 33.271. Track's now clear at the double start for Nathan Bivens and Wolfgang Lux. Sled and track from the double start. Our final slider for Heat 2 of the Norton Junior Nationals doubles. We have Nathan Bivens with Wolfgang Lux. Start time 3.197 seconds as they head into those labyrinth curves. Coming up, going right down the middle of that 10-11 straightaway as they come at 11. Good line at 11 into 12. Now 13. Dinger. Got to drop those feet, get control of the sled as they come through slingshot. Heading up through curve 15 with a downtime of 45.197. Combined downtime 1 minute 30.541. Recap, in second place, we have Sadie Martin with Brianna Gosnell with a combined downtime 1 minute 33.271. And in first place, we have Nathan Bivens with Wolfgang Lux with a combined downtime 1 minute 30.541. And attention, coaches, athletes, spectators, the rewards ceremony will be held in curve 12 immediately. So head on down to curve 12 for the awards ceremony. Attention, coaches, athletes, spectators. Track is now clear for approximately just over an hour until 4 o'clock when we will resume sliding with our winter comet session.